the previous session, we spoke about stage 4, which is the late stage of your reboots. Today, we're going to speak about the final stage, stage 5. And I refer to this as the maintenance stage of your reboot or your recovery. At this point, you've accepted your need for help, you've implemented new habits, you're integrated in into some form of a supportive community, and you're on a track that actually works for you. Your focus now is to maintain what you've built so far and continue to make small adjustments to keep growing in your recovery and to keep growing as this new person that you've become. And as you settle into stage 5, it's also important to remind yourself that this is a new lifestyle. So what you thought of as your porn or sex addiction was actually a long-term lifestyle that you spent months or years living. And as you settle into your new approach to life, you have to remember the things that brought you here in the first place. It takes time for your brain to rewire. So even after you have your new routine in place, understand that it takes about 6 months to a year to discover what works for you and to build habits around those different things. Then you spend the next year building up reboot capital using the tools that we've shared with you that'll be making a difference in your life. And overall, it takes about a year and a half to 2 years for a man's brain to fully rewire from an out of control sexual behavior. And even though it might take a shorter time for some men to progress from habit change to lifestyle change to changing your self image, the full process is going to take about a year and a half to 2 years. So this is very important in terms of setting expectations. Let's talk about the key to success for stage 5, the maintenance stage. The first thing is continued growth and development. After the first few months of being in a program like this, you might feel like there's nothing wrong with you, and you might even find yourself tempted to take your foot off the gas or to take it easy. I know this might be impossible to imagine right now, but at this point, you have great habits in place. You're enjoying the lifestyle you've developed. You're proud of how far you've come, and you feel great about yourself as you begin to reflect on where you are right now in your reboot or in your recovery. And stage 5 is where the challenge of questioning your new path arises. You might wonder whether you still need to maintain certain boundaries, certain habits, or behaviors. And this is a very slippery slope to find yourself standing on. You have to remember that the positive things in your life are the result of the work you've done to remove porn and any out of control sexual behavior from your life. Remember, you put in a lot of work to get to this point. The key to success for stage 5 is actually quite simple. Continue your growth and development. Don't take your foot off the gas when you feel complacent and when you feel a little bit overconfident. These things creep in. Take a moment every time you can to look around and notice the incredible places that your life is going. Then remind yourself that it's going in this direction because you're no longer wrapped up in your behavior with pornography and masturbation. Another big threat is laziness. Yes, laziness. Now, there is a tendency as you gain control and start enjoying your life to take your reboot or your recovery for granted. And what happens with laziness is your boundaries start eroding slowly without you noticing. Maybe you stop being as intimate with your partner as you used to be, or you fall back on those quick dopamine hits like scrolling through social media, getting on dating sites, or binge watching Netflix. Cultivating awareness is a crucial part of stage 5. You must look out for those small threats to your reboots. Now, I'm not telling you that you have to be on high alert every time. There's nothing wrong with taking a small break here and there and enjoying these things. But when you find that you're spending more time in front of the screen or on dopamine-inducing activities than working on your reboot capital, then there's a problem. Finally, settling into some sort of positive community that's supportive is very helpful. It could be a spiritual community, it could be a recovery community, it could even be a martial arts club. The important thing is that you have a community where you can consistently go to build key aspects of your reboot capital. So being supported, preferably by men who have been where you are or who are working actively on areas of reboot capital that have atrophied for them, is going to be very helpful at this stage of your reboot. So brother, if you've made it to this point, congratulations. I know that there was a lot to go through, but it's very important to preface your lifestyle with understanding what all the different stages are, so that you can understand what's coming next. And at any point during your reboot, you feel a little bit lost, you're not sure if you're making progress, feel free to come back to one of these sessions to identify what stage that you're at. In the next module, module 2, we're going to be identifying several self-defeating behavioral and personality traits that I've noticed sabotage my clients' progress when it came to changing their reboot or recovery lifestyle. I like to say that changing your lifestyle when it comes to recovery is simple, but it's not easy. It's simple because everything is laid out for you. And as you've learned from my sharing the last few stages, you can always identify where you're at. However, it isn't easy because we all come with these thought or these inborn behavioral traits and personality traits that sometimes stand in the way. And so, what we're going to do in the next module is I'm going to share these personality and behavioral traits with you. And together, we're going to identify the ones that could impact your reboot. I'll see you on the other side.